All right, guys, we are back for another video. We're going to talk about implications of Dragon Ball Heroes ending for Dokkan and stuff like that. But I mean, this isn't necessarily just a full Dokkan video here. So Dragon Ball Heroes is ending. Now, I will tell y'all, to me, I look at this as a bad sign. I feel like we're seeing a lot of things that seem negative for Dragon Ball. I mean, we could always, things could change at the drop of a hat. But several things have happened recently that does make me kind of, I guess, just a little bit nervous, right? Like, Dragon Ball Super, people will hate on Dragon Ball Super so much. And I mean, there's tons of things to fairly criticize Dragon Ball Super for. The bad animation. I think a lot of the writing is pretty awful at times, for sure. But I mean, it does lead to very hype moments like Goku vs. Jiren, blah 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 blah. But it just it seems like they've completely moving away from Dragon Ball Super. Like they're, for whatever reason, they want it to die. Now I don't know if it's Toei or Shueisha. I mean, it's probably Shueisha, considering they're ending Dragon Ball Heroes. The Dragon Ball Super manga's on hiatus. Unfortunately, again, Toriyama passed away too, which is probably definitely a huge negative for Dragon Ball as well. Now, I would imagine that things like this was probably already in the works before Toriyama passed. This doesn't have anything to do with that. But I mean, it's just all these different things happening where it's think of Dragon Ball Superhero, where they put almost no marketing whatsoever into it. Superhero ended up being a success, but they did nothing for it. It's it truly is the thing. I don't really from what I've seen of One Piece and stuff like that, I've liked it. I'm not really consider myself a One Piece hater or anything like that. But I mean, you can't look at the way they treat One Piece and then the way they treat Dragon Ball, and it just doesn't even make any sense. Especially because Dragon Ball is more successful and more popular. It's like they, to me, I do view it. It does seem like Shueisha or someone at Shueisha or people at the top of Shueisha or whatever. It feels like they wish One Piece was as popular as Dragon Ball to me. It's kind of like the indication by how some of this stuff is going. Now, we do have Daima coming, but again, I mean, when did we get the trailer for Daima? I mean, that was a long time ago at this point. We haven't really heard much of it. I'm gonna assume it might be a big success, but I mean, to go from, the hype of new Super Saiyan forms and really good villains like Hit and Goku Black and Zamasu and stuff like that, to then drop down to where Goku and Vegeta and them are kind of kids again. I mean, I don't know, there's gonna be mixed thoughts about that. Even me, I would say it's not what I'm looking for, but of course it's Dragon Ball. I'm gonna give it a big chance. Now, one other thing. I don't know how I could find this, but there is a Twitter account that I follow that kind of talks about merchandise, figures and stuff like that. Let me pull it up. I saw that account. I don't know if I'll be able to find the tweet, but I saw that account talking about how previously in the last several years, right? They would release stuff from Dragon Ball Z and stuff like that, and they would market it as Dragon Ball Super. Dragon Ball Super was the brand that they were pushing. Now, even on merch and stuff like that, they're going back to marketing it as Dragon Ball Z, having Dragon Ball Z on the packaging instead of Dragon Ball Super. So it does show that they're trying to move away or distance themselves from Dragon Ball Super. I don't even really it just feels foolish to me. The Moro arc definitely has its issues, but if that was in the anime or something like that, it would grip people. It's just Dragon Ball and the fights and the Saiyans and stuff like that. It would be a success. So it is just very confusing to me the way it seems like they want stuff to be in front of Dragon Ball, with how kind of they have the ultimate gold mine, which is Dragon Ball, which is definitely the most popular anime, across every country and stuff like that. And they're just very kind of hesitant. Let me just pull the account up I was referencing, and then we could talk about Dragon Ball Heroes ending. There is a replacement coming, Dragon Ball Super Divers. I mean, we'll see. I've spoken with Gresh a little bit about this, and he's been adamant that he has never seen like the Japanese like community as mad as they are about Heroes ending, and it makes sense. I mean, Heroes has been around. Heroes was around before the Dragon Ball like Renaissance with Battle of Gods, so like it's pretty crazy. All right, guys. Unfortunately, I couldn't find the account I was talking about, but this is just more of what I'm talking about. So, Dragon Ball was the number one streak for Bandai for 6 years. And in this last 6 years, I mean, of course, Dragon Ball Super Broly was in 2018, and that's where Mastered UI was and stuff like that. But I mean, Dragon Ball hasn't had like One Piece has just been has series the whole time, right? Gundam has constantly got stuff going on, and Dragon Ball barely. I mean, we had Dragon Ball Super Broly in 2018, and then Superhero in 2022, and that's basically it. So, like, this is why it just seems so baffling to me. Like, why not just lean into the gold mine cash cow that's just so easy? You just let Toyotaro and Toriyama, Toriyama obviously was, around for the last several years, to just let them continue, cooking up and then continue to make an anime on it. I don't understand why they didn't. It doesn't make sense. They had so much momentum with the Tournament of Power leading into the Broly movie, and then they're just like, what if we just kill the fucking series? Like, it doesn't make sense to me at all. So let's read what Gresh said. So this is about Dragon Ball Heroes ending, and then again we have the trailer for Dragon Ball Super Divers here. So Heroes will reach the end of its service with the release of Dragon Ball Super Divers. Since Dragon Ball Super Divers is a brand new game with new rules and new cards, Dragon Ball Heroes cards will not be usable. That's crazy. I mean, one good thing about Dragon Ball Heroes, like ending or something like that, and, all the money players might have spent compared to, Dokkan or Legends or something, is that those were real physical cards. So at least, if you were a Dragon Ball Heroes card collector, like, you would still have all the Heroes cards. So that's something that's good. However, a Dragon Ball Heroes mode is planned to be implemented within Dragon Ball Super Divers, where you'll be able to use existing Dragon Ball Heroes cards, including your avatar. For those who play through the last mission of Dragon Ball Heroes, a special Start Dash bonus will be awarded to aid players. Dragon Ball Super Divers machine will have monitors around 3 times the size of what exists for Heroes. Tons of graphical improvements have been made to increase the immersion level, in addition to the panels being slightly angled to encapsulate the player. This is where we could start talking about Dokkan a little bit too. So Dokkan, like seeing all this stuff, like this kind of like what I would describe as like negativity for the Dragon Ball brand. I mean, it is something that does make me, nervous even for like Legends or Dokkan, games that are super successful. I mean, they're cash cows, but like I don't want to be too rude, but some people making the decisions behind Dragon Ball are just not very smart. They just don't make good decisions. So it does make me wonder, even though, I've had assurances that, Legends and Dokkan are going to be around for the foreseeable future. I mean, you never know when plans change and they just decide to kill like a super marketable, really good thing for no reason at all, because some dummy thinks he knows better than everyone else. It's hard to say. But so, I mean, I did just want to briefly touch on this. I think it's good to touch on this here. So, a lot of times tweets will pop up and it's stuff I've talked about in videos. There's a lot of things I can't touch on with this topic, but I have heard, that this type of thing, where them taking down Dokkan, I mean, I don't know about this 1 to 1.5 months. Like, I don't know how long it would take and stuff like that. But I have heard that if they would just put the game into, like, maintenance or whatever for, I don't know, maybe a week, a couple of days, something. And the time frame, I don't know. But they would be able to heavily optimize and modernize the game. Like, they'd be able to make a lot of improvements, and in particular, a lot of back-end improvements, right? As far as I've heard. So I just would say like something like this would be a very good thing. I didn't dive deep into like replies and like quotes and stuff like that to sort of see the reaction. I did see this tweet, but again, as far as I'm aware, this is something that actually would be positive. And I have mentioned this several times in videos before. So, all right. I guess let's just go ahead and look at this trailer here. For Dragon Ball Super Divers, sort of see what we're working with. And then I guess the last part of this video is we can. What is this? Oh, this is the trailer here. We could talk about what this means for Dragon Ball Heroes and Dokkan as well. Of course, of course. I guess I spent a lot of time talking about this, but we got to talk about it in Dokkan terms as well. So here, let's just slow the volume. Let's see what we're looking like right here. Yeah, it's just so crazy to me. Like, it kind of looks. That is heavily improved, huh? Okay. Yeah, you can tell that does look quite a bit. Okay. Sure. But it's just so crazy. Like one of my favorite things of the year was always the Dragon Ball Heroes live stream. They would have all these types of tournaments. It does just seem so bizarre, the decision to end Dragon Ball Heroes. I just feel like it's stupid. This is a horrible decision. It's a horrible decision. Like, they could do this and just have it be a true continuation of the game. Like, I don't is it, this is that I don't want to get into it, but okay. So Dragon Ball Heroes. Dude, I don't know. I've got no clue. Dragon Ball Heroes could just they could just continue to release characters. I feel like I'm not privy to certain details, but I would say there's as likely a chance that the Dragon Ball Heroes in Dokkan is done. Like, that's it. Boom. It's gone forever. I would say there's at least a chance that we're not going to see Heroes stuff ever again. Now, they always release Heroes at the same time. I have heard there's a reason for that, right? Copyright stuff, blah, 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 blah. There's a reason why it always comes out at the same time. So we'll see in November. I don't know if Dokkan would mention this. Perhaps they would say so in like a stream or something like that. Like, I imagine during Worldwide Download Celebration, we potentially could get like massive stream, maybe the potential for like Q&A type stuff. There's going to be the global sync. Like, I do have big expectations for what we could see in August. And perhaps we would get info on Heroes there. But again, Dragon Ball Heroes may very well be done in Dokkan, which is definitely a bummer. Always, I wish that they had made a lot of these characters more relevant to be run on teams and stuff like that. But this is definitely a nice breath of fresh air in the game. And now this could be gone as well. So let me know what you guys think about Dragon Ball Heroes ending. I do think it's, again, a terrible decision, but like all these games and stuff like that eventually are going to end. Like, it is, again, eventually going to happen. So let me know what you guys think about Dragon Ball Super Divers and the death of Dragon Ball Heroes. But I think that we've got a lot of big silly gooses at Shueisha, Toei, whoever's running. It's a lot of big silly gooses, man.